amongst those young people that actually need that kind of care, what happens is that they're ultimately placed in this kind of hierarchy in terms of which young people deserve care more than others. I know that it comes back to availability resources. Youth hostels, for example, there will be a priority list. If we're telling our young people that some are more important than others, it ultimately leads to a lack of hope in themselves and damages their clarity in their future.
When you were homeless, what was the help?
I lived in like a women's hostel, which is classed as homeless, but it was really the staff that were there. They kind of gave my mum the support that she needed in terms of looking for alternatives to homes, finding which ones would be suitable, kind of thing. One thing that was beyond their control was the time limit, and this is kind of like where the scary part kicks in, is because we were kind of placed in an environment that we've never been in before, but we were kind of given like a year to find a place or you'd have to get kicked out. But they were really helpful in terms of getting permits to kind of extend that timeline. So I think the staff that worked there, they helped a lot. But a massive part that was played as well was also my mum in terms of being able to cope with it.
Just to hit on the point, a lot of young people that come out of care become homeless as well, so that's leading contributor.
That's also I'm saying that plans shouldn't be preset, but they should be provided. That's what these institutions are set up for. So we shouldn't place all the expectations on the people coming in.
Sense of embarrassment too, because some families are unwilling to claim benefits if their children don't become embarrassed that they're on free school meals and many benefits, because a lot of other kids see it as being poor, and that's an embarrassment and a social stigma. That if you're on free school meals then you're instantly something less than everybody else.
That's actually crazy because like apparently 40% of people that are entitled to it don't take it up. So.
Yeah, one of my friends should rather basically not eat food all day in school, college,
If I'm going out and there's a social embarrassment of doing both basically asking for help, because that's where it is. You can either basically homes or ask for help.
And also I think it's how the schools or colleges like set out. That if you're in a free school meal, you don't have to make it so that people know you're in a free school meal. The way our college do it, I think it's quite good because you have a card, everyone has the same card, so you wouldn't know if you're in a free school meal or paying for it. But the way some colleges do it, I think they like almost humiliate you, or like they give you little cards, free school meal. So I think it depends on the institution.
There was also a government report wherein it was tested between kids who were on free school meals and kids who weren't, and whether their test scores went up or down. And free school meal kids were seen to have lower academic success. So that made young people feel like they were diminished in other aspects than financial. They felt they were diminished academically, socially, as well as that. And a report like that must have made a lot of young people feel kind of screwed.
Put your hand up if you think that maps, the homeless people, that they could look out for information support, would tackle resources.
Democratic vote.
Yep.
Today's Thursday. It's the first time we're meeting up by ourselves, and I'm just walking to meet everyone else. Going through this entrance. Oh, there they are. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Samuel. Hello. So today's our fourth or fifth meeting. I'm currently at the Friends meeting house, and I'm a bit early. Our last meeting, we met without Nigel or Barry. It was actually quite productive. We've discussed the set out of the documentary and what we want to make, like the resources and who's gonna present it. So I think it was quite productive. We're gonna start meeting people now, organizations. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We're progressing, we just need to call the organizations, and I think after that we can actually make the video.
Well, I think we're getting quite sufficient level of support, and I feel that we're striking that right balance between independence and support from Barry and Nigel. I feel the project is progressing quite fast, and it's quite a good thing because we've got quite tight deadlines to meet, and fingers crossed we'll be meeting our timeline deadlines.
We've been good at like keeping the democratic process and what we're going to do next, and we've worked well as a group in deciding what the next step will be. We've never like tripped each other up, or we've never gone in a circle. We've had a consistent straight line towards the end goal.
Vanessa?
I think that like we're working really good as a team, and we're making progressive achievements. Yeah.
That's Nando's customer service for you.
This has been life-changing. From the start of it, from the beginning of it, like there's a group of young people that were like really passionate about this, and we chose that we wanted to do homelessness. I think that's why everyone is like so motivated to do it, and like we've been just making progress, and like so far I think every problem we came across we've overcome. For example, the safety issue, we've overcome that. I think we're making progress, so yeah. So Nigel, what are your reflections?
I think it's going really well. I think it's terrific. I think you're working really well together as a group. You've got lots of skills and talents between you that are really relevant to this task, and the relationships seem very good as well. So it feels as though you're making really good progress. You're kind of clear about what you want to do and what the task is. The big challenge, as Hassan has said, is going to be to get it done in the time, because we've really only got a few weeks to do this, but I'm pretty confident that you guys can do that, and I'm really enjoying working with you.
Thank you, Nigel.
Four main streams in that unit, and so we work on migration, welfare conditionality, sustainability, and housing and homelessness. So I work across those sort of last two areas, and we're involved in quite a lot of projects now around homelessness. So we're doing work with the Welsh Government around evaluating their new law, focusing on the prevention of homelessness, which is quite exciting. We actually interviewed 150 people asking for help. I mean, because obviously I'm not from here, so I forgot to say that I'm from the US, and so my background is also there, working with tenants and working with homelessness. So in the US, far different situation, much bigger, because we don't have the sort of welfare state, we don't have a social safety net, we don't have the same kind of social housing. I think here in Manchester, like the rest of the country, but primarily in the cities, there's been a huge spike since 2010, which is coincidentally when the Tories took power. Since 2010, there's been a 132% increase in homelessness. The latest figure is around 34,000 people homeless across the course of a year. But you'll see a lot more rough sleeping, so rough sleepings doubled across the country in that same time period.
What do you think are the causes of youth homelessness in Manchester in particular?
So I think the causes are primarily structural. So when academics talk about homelessness and when politicians talk about homelessness, they'll often talk about a mix of sort of structural issues, that's like the economy, and then they'll talk about personal issues, right? Because for every single person on the streets, there's this whole set of circumstances that have led them to be there. For me, it's quite an easy answer. The cause of homelessness is a lack of housing. It's a lack of social housing, it's a lack of genuinely affordable housing.
What in your opinion is the solution to overall the housing crisis facing Manchester and the youth homelessness crisis?
The big level solution really is just we need more housing. We can build more housing. Also, there's a huge amount of housing being built that is not being built to solve the problems that we're facing, right? It's being built as an investment, it's being built to generate money in the economy, it's being bought by private investors. Also on a national level, I think we need to think about jobs. So the fact that the rents are steadily rising, and we all know that wages are stagnating or going down. We know there's this 0-hour contracts, people not being able to get the hours that they need, and so obviously they're not going to be able to pay those rents. So I think there's a lot of work to be done around jobs, around minimum wage, living wage, that kind of stuff.
You can only implement one policy. What one policy would you implement to help or eradicate youth homelessness?
I would build housing. I would get rid of right to buy and build housing.
So there was we're all blindfolded and we're holding a placard that says different facts about youth homelessness. There was a homeless, a girl that looks homeless in the middle. Olive was like circled around her, around. It was a big circle, and they had black masks to show that youth homelessness is mainly invisible, and people like it's all around Manchester, but people don't really see it. That's where the idea of blindfold came in, and we got quite a good response. Yeah, we got there was a barrister that came past, and she said all these points, these facts were actually really good, and like she agrees with them, and like she sees it all the time when she's in court, because she was a judge. So when she's in court, she says like she deals with a lot of like similar cases, and like she thinks it could have been prevented. She wouldn't let us like video it because she said she has to be impartial and stuff because she's a judge. But she said we're doing a really good job and we should continue. We should raise awareness, put pressure. Some homeless people that were sat at the place, they actually joined us. Some of them, although we had trouble with one of them because he was like, "Why are you mocking us?" Blah blah blah. When we got to talk to him, and like he read the facts and he apologized, and they joined us. And there was this youth homeless guy that was actually homeless at the place, and he joined us and the other demonstrations that we did in the station.
Because I've done a similar protest, a shoulders protest in my school, where the school uniform policy was inherently sexist and it banned girls from wearing shoulders dresses. So quite a few men in the classes just like pulled down my shoulders and said, "Is this sexy to a teacher?" The school reversed their policy eventually, and like I just felt that like stuff like this, it's good, it's memorable, but it's short-lived, and if it's not a really effective way of making change, it's an effective way of raising awareness.
Yeah, I completely agree with
for change, you need consistency.
I completely agree with you. It didn't bring about any change, I don't think, but it did raise awareness. It did make a change in some way, because someone could see that and say they want to do something about it or whatever. You would, like, I think it's really hard to measure the change, that the impact of, but I think it does definitely raise awareness. Hello, Kyle. Can you why are we here?
We're here today to increase the awareness of youth homelessness. Basically, in our society in Manchester, youth homelessness is not seen. It's always assumed that there is, but not many. But homelessness does not also mean just on the streets. It means surfing, being around families and friends' houses on the sofa, because youth is not really seen to be important much. But obviously it is. It's the next generation, and youth these days they sleep on the sofa because they're scared of being on the street. But obviously every youth needs sustainability and needs somewhere to call home.
Have you been a victim of homelessness?
Yeah, I've personally been a victim of homelessness. I got made homeless 2 years ago due to abuse and obviously isolation within the parents I was living with. So I was living on the streets, and then I was from friends to family. And then obviously I got disappointed by the government and social services because it took them 2 years for myself to find my own place and somewhere to call home.
Thank you very much.
So during one meeting, we decided that we wanted to create pamphlets as a way of providing support for homeless people across Manchester. And how we were going to do that, we wanted 2 people to do this. We wanted someone to research, someone to actually design it. So me and Daniel were assigned. Daniel researched all that information in terms of the services that are already being provided in Manchester and gave that information to me. There were 6 fantastic charities and organisations. We wanted it to be easy to read and also to have maps on there. So
a pocket-sized foldable map for homeless people to see where they can go for facilities like food banks, job centres, kitchens, to go to cheap stores. We'd give it out to them on the street, or they'd go to people who are at risk of homelessness. And we've also got a wellbeing team in every school or college, which would enable a young person to speak confidently when they're at risk of homelessness, and that's preventative care. And then we've got identity, which it lies on both that the video would raise awareness of the identity issues and the resource issues, because they can use it as a resource, or they can use it as something to relate to their own personal identity, because anyone in that video may be going through similar situations.
So Elijah, what were the most challenging aspects of being homeless?
I guess in many ways it was the realization that everyone in this society, we live very different lives. Even within those lives, a lot of people face many different struggles, and my story, when I went into that hostel, it taught me that I was only one of many. But at the same time, it gave me a sense of hope and a sense of identity that at least I'm not the only one. Because being in that position sometimes, that you live a life where you don't know what your future holds for you. But at the same time, I was lucky that I could say that I had someone like my mum there to provide the hope, inspiration, and that sense of like, yes, I can, and that we can overcome these obstacles. Even though being young, you're supposed to be filled with dreams, but when your life has only told you about your doubts and your failures, it becomes even more difficult to see. When you look at society, there are so many people facing that, and as I said, I'm fortunate to have someone there to help me, but the reality is that so many people did not.